Most people think a dollar collapse would be loud. Sirens, breaking news, panic on every screen. But what if it doesn't happen that way at all? What if it happens quietly, slowly, while life looks normal on the surface? And by the time most people realize what's going on, gold is no longer $1,000 or $2,000, but moving towards $6,000, $8,000, even $10,000. Today, we're walking through the timeline of how that actually happens, step by step, and why this window is already opening right now. Right now, the dollar still feels familiar. You swipe your card, you pay your bills. The numbers look fine. But underneath that surface, something important has already changed. The dollar is no longer backed by trust the way it once was. It's backed by debt, promises, and confidence that can disappear faster than people expect. This isn't fear talk. This is how every reserve currency in history has ended. Slowly at first, then all at once. Before we go deeper, if you want calm, grounded breakdowns like this that help you see what's coming before the headlines scream it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. On Silver Reset, we focus on signals, not hype, and we connect the dots most people never see until it's too late. Now let's start the timeline, because this part matters. Stage 1 always looks boring. That's where we are now. Governments keep spending, debt keeps growing, central banks keep talking but not fixing. Inflation cools on paper, but real-life costs stay high. Groceries feel expensive, insurance jumps, rent doesn't come back down. This is not a crash phase. This is an erosion phase, and erosion is dangerous because people adapt to it without realizing what they're losing. In this stage, gold doesn't explode yet. It climbs quietly. Pullbacks scare people out. Headlines say it's done, but something important happens behind the scenes. Central banks keep buying gold, not loudly, not emotionally. They just keep adding. That's not an accident. That's preparation. When the people who print money start stacking something they can't print, that's your first real signal. Then we move into stage 2. This is where confidence starts cracking, but not collapsing. Interest payments on debt become a problem, not the debt itself, the payments. The government can't cut spending without breaking something. They can't raise taxes without backlash. So they choose the only option left: more debt, more printing. Different words, same outcome. At this point, the dollar still functions, but it starts losing its role as a safe place to hide. Foreign buyers step back, not all at once, slowly. They shorten maturities. They demand higher yields. The system still works, but it needs more effort to keep it working. This is when gold starts acting differently. It stops reacting to good news and bad news the way it used to. It just trends upward, calmly, relentlessly. Most people still don't notice. They're waiting for a crash. But history shows this part lasts longer than expected. Months, sometimes years. Gold moves from 2,000 to 3,000, then 4. People say it's overvalued. They said the same thing at 1,000 and at 2,000. Now we enter stage 3, and this is where things accelerate. Something breaks trust. It could be a failed bond auction, a banking event, a geopolitical shock, or simply the realization that the debt math no longer works. This is when the dollar doesn't die overnight, but it loses credibility, and currency credibility, once cracked, never fully recovers. At this stage, gold doesn't need marketing. It doesn't need fear. Money flows to it automatically. Pension funds adjust, sovereign funds rebalance, insurance companies hedge. This is when gold stops being an investment and starts being treated like a financial lifeboat. Prices move fast, pullbacks get bought aggressively, and suddenly 5,000 doesn't sound crazy anymore. This is also where the public finally pays attention. But here's the hard truth. By the time it's on every screen, the easy move is already gone. Gold at 6,000 feels shocking. Gold at 8,000 feels unreal. But structurally, nothing has changed except awareness. The dollar didn't suddenly collapse. It finished a process that started years earlier. And this is the part most people miss. Gold doesn't need hyperinflation to reach these levels. It only needs a reset and trust, a repricing. When global money realizes it has been underestimating risk for a decade, the adjustment happens fast, very fast. We're not at the end of this timeline yet. We're closer to the middle, and that's why this period feels confusing instead of terrifying. Calm markets, nervous people, mixed signals. That's exactly how every major monetary shift looks before it becomes obvious. In Part 2, we'll walk through what pushes gold from 6,000 toward 10,000, what happens to savings during that phase, and why timing matters more than perfection. Stay with me, because this next part is where the picture becomes very clear.
By the time gold reaches around $6,000, something very important has already happened. The conversation has changed. It's no longer about if the dollar has a problem. It's about how big the problem really is. At this stage, people are no longer calm, but they are not fully panicked either. They are uneasy. They sense that the old rules don't work the way they used to, but they're still hoping for a fix. This is the phase where governments try to restore confidence with words, new programs, new guarantees, new reforms. Everything sounds serious, professional, and controlled, but markets don't listen to speeches. They watch behavior, and the behavior tells a different story. Debt keeps growing, money keeps getting created, and every attempt to stabilize the system quietly confirms the same truth. There is no way back to how things used to be. This is when gold stops moving in a straight line and starts making sharp moves higher, not because people are greedy, but because they are unsure. Uncertainty is fuel. Investors no longer wait for perfect timing, they just want exposure. That urgency alone can push gold from 6,000 toward 7,000 much faster than most models predict. At this point, savings accounts quietly become the biggest losers. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily. People realize that even though the number in their account stays the same, what it can buy keeps shrinking. This realization spreads slowly, through conversations, through personal experiences, through bills that no longer make sense. And when that realization becomes widespread, gold takes another step higher. Then comes the moment that pushes gold toward 8,000. This is not always a single event. Sometimes it's a series of disappointments, a policy that fails, a rescue that doesn't restore trust, a financial institution that needs help when it shouldn't. Confidence doesn't collapse all at once, it leaks. And once it leaks enough, people stop assuming stability and start preparing for instability. In this phase, gold is no longer seen as optional. It becomes a reference point, a measuring stick. People don't ask why gold is going up, they ask what it's telling them. And what it's telling them is simple. The currency system is being repriced in real time. This is also where fear of missing out quietly enters the picture. Not the loud kind you see in bubbles, but the uncomfortable kind. The kind where people regret not acting earlier. The kind where they say, "I knew something felt off." That emotional shift is powerful. It pulls in capital that was previously sitting on the sidelines. Now we reach the final stage of the timeline. This is where gold moves toward 10,000, and this part surprises people the most, because by now, inflation numbers may not look extreme, the economy may not look collapsed, but trust has been permanently damaged. The dollar still exists, it still circulates, but it no longer feels solid. It feels temporary. At this stage, gold is no longer trading against inflation. It's trading against doubt, against uncertainty, against the risk that the system itself needs a reset. And when global capital starts pricing that risk honestly, the numbers get big very quickly. 10,000 doesn't happen because gold becomes rare overnight. It happens because currencies are reevaluated, because the math of debt finally meets the psychology of confidence. And once that line is crossed, there is no clean reversal, only a new baseline. This is why waiting for perfect confirmation often misses the entire move. By the time everything feels obvious, the price has already adjusted. History shows this again and again. The biggest gains happen when most people are still unsure, not when they are convinced. That's the real purpose of understanding this timeline, not to predict an exact date, not to chase headlines, but to recognize where we are in the process, calm enough to act, early enough to matter. Here on Silver Reset, we focus on clarity, not panic. We look at the structure, the behavior, and the patterns that repeat across history. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, let me know in the comments what stage you think we're in right now. I read them and they help shape future videos. And if you know someone who's confused about what's happening to money, savings, or the dollar, share this video with them. Sometimes one clear explanation is all it takes to change how someone prepares for the future. Thanks for staying with me till the end.